Alive and Kickin was playing at the Cheetah, which was a club in Manhattan, which was basically on 8th Avenue and 3rd Street. And I think Tommy was living on 8th and 54th at that time. And he came in and saw the band, and you know, he was that was at the point where he was really at the height of his career, and you know, I think I called him every day for a month straight, trying to have an opportunity to write with him.
Wow.
And finally he relented and said, come on over, and Woody, who was the bass player in Alive and Kickin', and I went over, and Tommy had, pretty sure, had Ball of Fire underway, and we worked on it a little bit with him, and there it was, you know. And when people ask me about that song, they say, well, Bruce, what did you contribute? I always say, I came up with the O.
Oh, that's funny.
So, so when I go back and I listen to that Alive and Kickin' album, you know, as a songwriter who's been doing it all these years, and I was, you know, a teenager at that time, and I listened to that Alive and Kickin' album, and I had no idea what I was thinking about, or what I was writing about, or where I was coming from, or what I was trying to say. I was just, you know, I think just a ball of energy, trying to be cool, you know, because if you look at the songs on the Alive and Kickin' album, first of all, the only song that was great was Tighter, Tighter, which was written by Tommy, and the rest of the songs were written by me and the guys in the band, and they were kind of like songs about Mississippi mud and Kentucky fire and Junction Creek, and, you know, and here I was a kid from Brooklyn who's really never been out of New York, and, you know, so I don't know what the heck I was doing.
But there's a 30-second ditty that I love on that record.
There's a second what?
The 30-second ditty that like ends the whole album.
You know what? That's a song called Sunday Morning, and it was probably the best song that I had ever written to that point. And I don't even know where the rest of that song was, because I don't know why it didn't go on the album and why only 30 seconds went on. Probably because every other song on that album was like 6 or 7 minutes long.
Okay.
And, you know, at that point, I was just trying to be cool and a rock and roll star. And probably Sunday Morning was another song that I probably considered too poppy. And, you know, and the thing about vinyl is you can only put so much time on each side. So we apparently had run out of time and could only put 30 seconds of that song. But to this day, I don't even remember. I mean, I don't have a copy of the full song. I do remember sort of how the verses went, but I don't have a copy of the recording. Maybe one of the other people in the band do. I don't know, actually.
Ha. Now, Walter Devaney is a mastering engineer, and I know that he's seen some of the Roulette catalog. In fact, do you remember Bobby Hebb, who wrote Sonny?
Sure.
Bobby and his girlfriend went and saw you and Donna Summer play down in Nashville. So he went to one of your shows. He was one of my closest friends, and we lost Bobby a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
I'm working on his box set, and I'm going to have Walter Devaney master it. So we have 3 CDs and a DVD. And it'll be this wonderful history of Bobby, and it will really show his genius to the world.
Yeah.
Walter, I will ask Walter if he's ever come across the Alive and Kicking masters, because he told me a lot of the Roulette stuff ended up in Abbey Road. Can you believe that? The tapes went from New York to England, and they were stored at Abbey Road.
All things are possible. I mean, the thing is that what's going on with, you know, all these companies being sold and consolidated, and then corporations buying them, and, you know, you have companies that own masters that they don't know where they are, they don't know what happened to them, they, you know, you have people working for companies who don't even, you know, have any relationship to the music, they don't, you know, so there's a lot of missing pieces there, and it's, you know, it's certainly possible that anything could wind up anywhere.
You know, and as fans too, I bought the Janis Joplin Cosmic Blues album when the CD came out. I love that album. It was her second big album. bought the CD, and right away I said, wow, this is a different guitar solo. So some intern just yanked some tape off a shelf, not knowing the original album, not knowing that for me it was a great find because, oh good, an extra mix with another guitar solo from Sam Andrew.
Right.
You know, but for the rest of the world, I cherish that, but I'm saying someone didn't know the music.
Right, exactly. Exactly. And you know, that's the way it is, and it is what it is. So.
But I will ask Devaney about the, maybe the Alive and Kicking Masters. Now, as a request from a fan, Bruce, maybe you can recut Sunday Morning for one of your future records.
Yeah, you know, I would have to see if I remember the whole song. You know, I don't know, but it was a good song, and maybe it'd be a good song for Peppy and Sandy to do again.
There you go. You know, I think a fun reunion of Alive and Kicking, even for a single, would get some attention, at least from the pop fans, of which there are many.
You know, about a year ago, we had a 40-year reunion at Peppy's house.
Wow.
And everybody from the original band was there. We got Tommy on the phone, and we all sang Tighter and Tighter together. It was kind of funny.
Was Tommy listening in?
Was Tommy listening in and singing along, yeah.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
Yeah, it was kind of funny.
But it's the kind of band that if you went out and did a reunion concert, I just think, well, PBS loves this stuff.
Yeah, you know, I speak to Peppy, you know, frequently. Well, not frequently, but, you know, often enough. And, you know, I always say to him, I don't know why, you know, I mean, Alive and Kickin' is still working. The band is probably better now than it ever was. Peppy's got a great band with him now, and he's got a great female vocalist in the band, and, you know, really strong. And I always say to him, I don't know why that they haven't been on one of these PBS specials yet, but, you know, they should. I mean, the Planetones have been on one, and I don't know why Alive and Kickin' wouldn't get on one.
Well, Gary DiCarlo was on 2 weeks ago. He did Na Na Hey Hey Kiss 'Em Goodbye.
Ah.
And he closes out the PBS special with Peter Noon of Herman's Hermits and the Jefferson Starship.
Yeah.
And I thought it was the original record. I said, Gary, it sounds like you lip synced. He goes, no, that's a whole new recording. It sounds so close to the original, it's mind-boggling.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, I do that a lot. You know, typically, it's sometimes a good thing to recut a master, especially if you're going to recut it, and you want to recut it as close to the original as possible, because there are all kinds of opportunities for commercials and things that come up. You know, I did a diesel commercial for last year for a new perfume for diesel, and they wanted "Love to Love You, Baby." And so I went in and I re-recorded it and re-recorded it exactly as the master. So if you would put them side by side, you literally wouldn't be able to tell the difference. So as long as you have the original singer in a situation like you're saying with Na Na Hey Hey, it's to the advantage of the artist to do that, because you're able to make a better deal than if the record company that owns the master was involved.
Right, Aerosmith did that with a commercial up here in Boston. Even though they're still on Sony had the master, they still wanted to have their own version for the commercial.
Yeah, yeah.
So I guess, yeah, amazing that you could do that. Now, will you ever release that version of Love to Love You, Baby?
Well, you know, it's funny, because I said to my wife, I said, you know, we should at least put it on iTunes, and you know, she was like, well, I don't know. So you know, you know, she's her own person and her own artist, and you know, I throw a lot of ideas out, and some of them she jumps on, and a lot of them she doesn't.
But the fans, like, you know, that's such a great song, such a classic record.
Yeah.
And the new version of the fans, you know, of course there aren't millions of them. There's more like 10,000 of them that are just rabid for the alternate take, the different mix, but it's still fun.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's a story.
Right, that's right.
Donna Summer did a live broadcast on WRKO radio back in the day, 1976 or so.
She did. It was a live performance live to the radio. I remember.
Yeah, my sister taped it, so I have a cassette somewhere around the house, and it was just odd because an AM radio station usually didn't do live broadcasts.
Yeah.
So it was pretty extraordinary that, you know, that happened here in Boston.
Yeah, I think that was with Sonny Joe White, if I remember correctly.
Really? So Sonny Joe helped put that together?
I think so, yeah.
Now, there's like a live tape that you could eventually be a live album, I guess, if you have masters on it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just remember this stuff and throw it out there.
Yeah, there's lots of stuff, that's for sure.
Well, there must be after all these years. Do you keep archives?
I do.
So it must be so much to sift through.
It's an awesome, overwhelming concept, and but I think it's something that for the artists themselves have to be involved in, and they have to be ready to take it on and want to do it. Typically, artists, like to live in the present and in the future.
Right.
Typically, we don't like to live in the past, so sometimes it becomes difficult to focus on those things, and because you always want to keep going forward, and that's what an artist is about.
Well, it's funny you'd say living in the past. Huh? I'm sorry.
I said no, but the day will come, I'm sure.
Well, it's funny you'd say living in the past because when I interviewed Ian Anderson from Jethro Tull,
yes.
I asked him about, the people that do audience recording tapes, and he hates it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, the audience that adores him loves it, but he hates it. So then I go to the show that night, and, I'm in my, middle to late 50s, right? So it's not like the early days of Tull where I'd be up front. I'm in the back of these. I never go to shows anymore, Bruce, right?
All right.
So I'm in the back, and he does Aqualung, and it's like you gotta pay attention, Aqualung, right? It was a great show, but a sea of hands going up with the cell phones to tape Aqualung, and I said, oh my God, it's his worst nightmare. There's got to be 500 telephones taping this song.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it is a little disconcerting when you're the artist and you're a musician on stage, and you're performing, and people you look out at the audience and everybody's got their cell phone with their video running while you're performing, and it's like you want to say, this is a live show. Look at the show. Stop looking at it through your viewfinder, But
well, in the old days, it used to be matches they held up. Now it's cell phones.
Yeah, exactly.
Not as dangerous, but.
I'm really looking forward to getting back into doing some club work and being in more intimate spaces, because I think what the kind of show that I would like to do now is take it down a notch and sing the songs, tell the stories, get some audience asking questions, and do that kind of thing, and make it a more musical, more intimate, more inspiring, more interpersonal kind of thing. And so that's the kind of show that I'm looking to do this coming year.
And you're talking my language, because my ears just don't want to take a battering ram of music, no matter how good it is.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And when you tell the stories behind the songs, like the new album, and let's get back to the new album, you've got 16 songs. How do you pick 10?
Well, I picked 10 based on, to me, when I'm doing it, again, it's a little bit old school, but to me the record is a concept and there's a theme running through it. And, you kind of like to have a beginning, a middle, and an end, and get people thinking about different concepts, and so some things, relate, and and then also at the same time, I think 10 songs, you know, is plenty. And, you know, you're lucky if you're going to get people to sit and listen through, you know, the 10 as it is, you know, so...
especially critics. They get so inundated with stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, I kind of put it together as a total piece that can work. You know, obviously each song can work on its own, but if you care to listen to everything as a whole entity, it will be satisfying on that level as well. That's my intent anyway.
So how did you pick a first single, and how do you market a single these days, with YouTube?
Yeah, well, how did I pick the first single? I picked the first single, you know, based on a couple of reactions I got from people that I trust their musical instinct in terms of what they like, what they respond to, and also just by honestly how the leading of my spirit. You know, I kind of went back and forth on a few different things, and so this first song is called "The Will to Believe," and how will I market it? Yeah, I will do a video, and you know, virally on the internet, and get some, you know, terrestrial radio and some satellite radio, and you know, and I think the way to promote things now in this day and age is also to have a constant drip. You know, I'm not somebody who kind of like stays out there all the time, so I kind of put a record out, and then I'm out there for a while, and you know, people become aware of me, and then I go away, and people kind of forget, and then I come back out, and so, oh, I remember, and so I'll probably put 3 or 4 songs out over the next 6 or 8 months from the record, and then before the end of the year, come out with the whole album. Is probably how I'll do it, and each one will have a little video and a little story, and hopefully I'll get, you know, gather some press around the record and do some live shows, and you know, build it into whatever it's going to be.
Now, do you think that the download is the way to go, or do you have the accompanying CD as well?
I will still do both.
Good for you, because I like old school. I just,
yeah.
And we're talking CD.
You know, I kind of feel like you always want to have something to hold in your hand, and if that if people want that will be available for them for sure.
Now, your kids are singing. Are they singing on the new record?
No, actually, well, no, that's not true. My youngest daughter, Amanda, and her husband are a duo called Johnny Swim, and they are actually, they're getting ready to come out with their next. They only do EPs. They have one EP that came out maybe a year and a half ago, and their new one is getting ready to come out soon. They're mixing it right now, and so they, Abner and Amanda, Johnny Swim, sing background on one song on the new record. On the Life and the Romantic record, Mimi sang backgrounds on one song, and Abner or Amanda sang backgrounds on another song. I still haven't gotten Brooklyn to sing on a record yet, but one of these days.
Does she sing, Brooklyn?
Yeah, well, I mean, everybody in my family sings, and they're all really good singers.
So someday will there be like a Christmas special from, you know, the Sudano family?
You know, that would be a fun thing to do, and I would say that it's certainly not beyond the realms of possibility. It is certainly something that could happen.
I think that'd be fun.
I've even been thinking to do this club tour I'm talking about. You know, I don't know if they would want to do it, but I would do it with Johnny Swim. It would be fun to do something with them. They're, you know, you should check them out on YouTube too. They're really special.
You sent me the MySpace a few years back. Now, is it JOHNNY?
Yep, JOHNNY Swim, all one word.
And all one word, okay.
Yeah.
And you can do that on YouTube, and it'll all come up.
And it'll all come up, yeah.
Oh, cool. I look forward to that. It's just such a strange world now because you got the record, but you got the YouTube, and the kids today.
You know what they do is they do a thing they call New Music Monday, and you know they're kind of intermittent with it, but they'll just put the video camera up on a Monday and sing a new song that they're working on right on the spot and sing it live into the camera and post it, and so you really get a sense of who they are and their writing and the fact that they're real live performers and singers.
And where are they located?
They're in L.A.
Oh, they're
out of L.A. now.
Oh, so if you did a little L.A. tour, would you do coffee houses or just little venues?
Yeah, I mean, there's a in fact, Janis Joplin did one last year where they did L.A., San Diego, San Francisco, and they did like a whole round of and they did residencies where, like say every Tuesday night for a month you're in the same club, every Wednesday night for a month you're in the same club, and so it kind of works like that. But, I would probably jump around a little bit more. I'd probably do an East Coast thing. I'd probably do an LA thing, and maybe even a Florida national thing.
Yeah, you got to come up to Boston during the summer.
Yeah, definitely. That's
there's a nice little club in York Beach, Maine.
Sorry, I missed that.
York Beach, Maine. There's a nice little club on the Short Sands Beach. And then there's clubs up the coast, of course. During
all the way up and down the coast. There's lots of places, sure.
Yeah, and that it's probably a very enjoyable thing to do at that time of year.
Yes.
But I've kind of lost touch with it. That's why I stay in the TV realm, Bruce.
Yeah.
It's
seasons of life, things change. You never know. You could be back out there again.
Well, God bless you for.
If we find out some old guy like me is out playing in a club, you might just motivate yourself enough to stay up past 9 o'clock.
I take my hat off to you guys because, I remember I played the Boston scene quite a bit, and in many years of carrying amps on my back, and
Yeah.
Cantone's Italian Restaurant, and it was a different time, and it was fun.
Yeah, it was a different time, and it was fun. And playing live is still fun. There's nothing like being on a stage singing your heart out. And for a bunch of people who are really enjoying it, and it's a good thing.
Now, would you ever surprise Alive and Kicking and show up at one of their shows to open up or something?
I've been threatening to do that for quite a while, and Peppy sends me a schedule every week, and it says this, and it's just, it just hasn't coordinated itself yet. Every time I go into New York, I'm doing so many things, but I would love to do that, and he also does a thing where he does a duo with his son, and I might even be more inclined to do that, show up and sing a few songs with Peppy and his son Tim. And they kind of do it's like small clubs, little restaurants, and things like that.
Yeah, remember Brother Louie, the hit Brother Louie?
Sure.
That's Ian Lloyd's a good friend of mine, and he and his son David Lloyd, they have a rock band, but then he has his Stories band. So they come up here to Boston, father and son. They're just terrific. They're wonderful.
Where was Stories? Was Stories out of New York as well?
Oh yeah, Ian Lloyd out of New York.
Yeah, because I think they were out of the same kind of crew that Alive and Kickin' came out of.
Yeah, they were on Buddha.
Yeah, yes.
But yeah, and they're still phenomenal. They still do a great job.
Sure.
In fact, the Stories drummer lives here in Boston. He showed up at the gig. So I did haul myself out for that. And if they tell me to videotape, I show up with the camera. That gets me out of the house.
Oh, there you go. So now I know how to get you.
Oh yeah, if you want to videotape, I just I make sure that we get out there because I just think everything has to be documented.
That's right.
Ian Hunter came to town and it was first night of the tour. He didn't want to tape. I said, Ian, I'm going to tape. You take the tape. No one sees it, but you got to have it in your archives.
Yeah.
Even it's the first night of the tour, and his wife saw me, and I said, Trudy, here you go. And I'm just happy that it's on tape, And maybe they can use 10 seconds. but you never know, and just keep it all taped. Because every performance is different, isn't it?
It sure is, and especially these days when you have, you know, the ease of which you can record something. Why not?
Yeah, we have the public access studio, so we have high quality cameras. I just take them out and have fun. But that keeps me happy because I don't want to sit in a club and just watch someone.
Yeah. Do you ever air any of that stuff on the public access channel?
Only with permission. Like the Jefferson Starship let me air it, and it was pretty funny. People were blown away seeing the Jefferson Starship back in '95 when I started the show. Marty Ballin was my first guest, and then Bobby Hebb was the third. And Bobby let me tape everything, so I have archives of Bobby Hebb live, which is so important, Bruce, because this vital artist never recorded a lot of his signature songs from the club gigs ever, and my little TV show has them captured.
Yeah.
And the estate is very happy, you know?
Sure.
It was so important to record. Vanilla Fudge we just recorded, and I sent them the tapes, and I'll only put them out with permission, you know?
Yeah.
It's a trust I have.
Is Mark Stein still in that band?
Mark Stein is in the band and has a new book coming out. So he keeps coming through town, and we're supposed to do an interview. We did the live tape, but we haven't done the interview yet.
Yeah.
He lives down in Florida. He's a cool guy.
Yeah, they were a great band.
Yeah, it's a perfect band for Alive and Kicking. That perfect, you know, from that era.
Yeah, yeah. I think they came out of the Action House back in the day. Action House was a club in Long Island where the Rascals used to play, and Vagrants used to play, and the Illusion used to play. And
did you play with the Vagrants and and all these groups?
yeah, you know, I don't know if we actually ever played a show with the Vagrants, but we played all the same clubs. So, you know, in those days there weren't that, you know, if you were playing the club, there wasn't another band on the bill that night. You were the band. So I don't know if we ever played in, you know, we played the same clubs, but I don't think we played the same clubs the same night.
Oh, because I love Leslie.
Yeah, no, the Vagrants. Did you ever see the Vagrants back in the day?
No, I was probably too young. I'm 57.
They were, you know, a groundbreaking band back in the day. I mean, they did things theatrically that were at the time very cutting edge, and as well as being musically, you know, great. You know, there was one thing that I always remember is they used to end their set, I think, if I got it right, if I remember correctly, they used to end their set with Exodus.
Oh, wow.
And at the end of the song, the lights would go down, and the keyboard player, whose name I'm drawing a blank on right now.
But it wasn't the Steve Knight from Mountain.
No.
Yeah.
It was, I think Jerry Storch was the drummer, but I don't remember the keyboard player's name. But he would put something on a key, so the lights would go out and the song would end, and you would hear this high organ note just hanging at the end of the song, and then the lights would come back on, and they would all be gone, but the note would still be going, you know. And it was very effective at the time, anyway.
A Day in the Life, wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
So,
we got a couple of minutes left, Bruce. We got till 8:50.
all right.
It's about 48. It's almost 8:48 right now. Is there going to be a new Donna Summer record?
There will be a new Donna Summer record. You know, she's been working. She has a bunch of stuff in the can, and so we'll see. We'll see what she comes up with. But you know, she's an amazing artist.
She certainly is. She's just iconic.
Yep.
And the body of work that you and Donna have done separately and together is just stunning.
Yeah, well, you know what? It's a blessing. You know, we've been married 32 years, I think, this year. And, you know, we have 4 grandkids, and you know, we just feel blessed to have the life that we've had, to be able to maintain our careers and maintain our family, and you know, we've been blessed, and we're grateful, you know, so.
That's wonderful, and I'm impressed that you keep writing the records, Bruce, and you keep recording them, because with the glut of music out there, it's just important. I just think it's great that you keep on keeping on.
Well, you know, I mean, the thing is that, you know, this is what you do, and you know, art doesn't have, you know, a time limit on it, you know, so I feel right now more vital and more creative than I've ever been in my life. I think that I have more to say. I've experienced more, and so I also feel grateful that things are the way they are right now, because in the old music business, you know, I might not have, because of my age or whatever, might not have had a way to have a voice. But because of how things are now, I'm able to continue and to have a way to get my music heard and get it out there. And, you know, like I said, you know, I feel more creatively viable right now than I ever have. So,
well,
so there you go.
I will thank you for the interview, and my final request, contact the copyright office, see if they have a copy of Sunday Morning.
I will, that's a good idea.
Bring it out into the clubs, Bruce, and you're welcome here at Visual Radio anytime, man.
Okay, pleasure to talk to you, Joe, and we'll do it again soon.
Thanks, man.
All right, bye.
All right, bye.